Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name's Ryan, or RJR Productions, and today I'm going to be showing you part 4 in my Captain Rex armor build series, where I make the lower torso. This build is completely made out of cardboard, and I'm going to be painting it once it's all done. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, because it greatly motivates me to make more videos like this one. Alright, let's get on to the build. The first piece I ended up starting off with was that piece that goes right below the chest and it goes right inside of the chest cavity on the inside. So what I did is I started filling out that middle section. If you look at it, it's kind of like a rectangle and then it sort of flares out at the top. And the first one I made was actually too short, so I ended up having to remake this whole piece. So just make sure to make it way taller than you think you'll need it to be. Mine goes about 2.5 inches above the edge of the chest, like where you can't see it. Just make sure that it actually fits there. And then towards the back, what I ended up doing was taking another piece of cardboard and layering it on top of it with some Velcro. So you can see here I'm laying some Velcro along the edges, and it's removable on both sides, but you really only have to do one. And then you take a big piece of cardboard and you slap it across the back, and this is an accurate detail to what it looks like. And you can see that same kind of rectangular shape merging down onto the butt plate, so just keep that in mind. So basically what I ended up doing for this torso piece is at the back, I have 2 lines of Velcro on either side, and then on this piece that you use to cover it up, there's Velcro on the tops and bottoms. So what basically happens is it connects something like this on both edges, and there's a slim little gap on the inside there, but from the outside it looks really nice. So now I'm going to start working on the belt, which is going to be a pain because there's all of those small little chunks taken out of it. So I guess I'll cut to that time lapse. So the next major piece I have to do for this armor is the belt. And you can see this fits very nicely in here. But my idea for the belt is, if I take this torso piece, the belt front where these 2 main boxes are, that's like the main major thing for it. So my idea is I'll make the little segment of belt that's in between this, and then behind those boxes I'll put some of this nylon cord, because if I put some of this behind it, then that allows it to flex much easier than just if it was just regular cardboard. So basically what I'm going to go ahead and do right now is make like a 6 or 7 inch long piece that covers the whole front of this piece and covers the bottom of the cod piece. And then I'm going to make those 2 boxes, and then I'll attach them together with some of this to make the belt more flexible. So in the template files, you'll be seeing this main piece right here. So let's cut to the time lapse. If you wanted the belt to not be as flexible, you could just cut it out of all one long piece, but the main thing you want to keep in mind is my belt is around 2.5 inches tall, and it's just 2.5 inches tall around the whole thing, and then the boxes just go over that height limit just to make it a little bit more varied. And I really like how it ended up looking. So right here I'm just building that little small detail that goes at the very front. It's just like a 2 by 7 inch piece, 2.5 by 7 inches, and then has a strip across the top, a strip across the bottom, and then 2 big rectangles in the middle, and then just 2 more small rectangles along the sides. And then the next thing I had to do was build some of the boxes on the belt. So now I have the front of the belt done. You can see that right there. And it sits on this torso piece very nicely. You can see that right there. It lines up well. So now the next step of what I'm going to do is I'm going to build those boxes that build off the sides. So those are kind of just like maybe a 4 inch, 5 inch tall piece and 2.5 to 3 inches tall. And then at the bottom it tapers down and gets a little smaller, and it has this little groove detail in the front. So I'm going to go cut back to once I have that done. But one quick thing real quick is if you look in this piece, on either side, here and here, you can see there are some gaps there. And the reason why those are there is so once I have those boxes done, I can glue some of that nylon strip to the back of it, and then I can wedge it in here and glue it to the inside. So that means instead of just pivoting the belt like this, you can pivot it here, and then at all the other joints where all the other boxes are. So I'll be back once I have that done. So I believe these front boxes are about 2.5 by 4 inches. I think that's what they are. I haven't checked though, so I think that's what it is. You can check in the template files if you want, if you purchase those. And then what you do is you cut this little C shape, this sideways C shape down on the top, and then you fill that back plate in with some cardboard, and then you can just put some more cardboard around the walls to make it a little bit taller.
And one thing I did is I cut little tiny rectangles around this so that the nylon strip can actually fit through it. So you can feed that nylon strip through it, and then you can glue that to that front belt piece, and then you can glue it to the inside of this box, and then it'll end up being able to pivot and not bend on the actual cardboard, but bend on the actual fabric, which is much easier to bend. And you can see these little slits are on both sides of each box. And the front lid, I decided to build this similar like shelf on the inside, so you could pull it out and store stuff in there. Whether you're at a convention, you have to store some like papers in it or something, just anything that you want to store in there. And I just made a little hinge that goes across the bottom edge. I think it worked pretty well. So in this next shot here, you can see me opening and closing them. It's pretty cool. I really like how it looks. And one thing that I ended up doing was building some more boxes off to the sides. And what these are is you basically just continue that belt, but what you have to do is you just have to take a piece of cardboard that's maybe about 1/2 inch wide, and then it's the same 2.5 inches tall. And you build a kind of an O shape if you look at it from the side. So it's that piece of cardboard, 2 small pieces on the top and bottom, and then that piece of cardboard on top. So you're making kind of like a sandwich. And then you glue that onto the nylon strip. And then you take another piece of cardboard that's 1 inch by 3 inches, and you make another box. And basically, this belt has a bunch of boxes on it. I think it has 8 boxes total, which is a lot. In my next episode, I'm going to be showing you how to build the thermal detonator. I haven't done that in this video. It's very simple, so you'll be seeing that coming up next. And then the next thing I did was build the same exact box on the other side. Again, it's that same exact size, it just has a hole towards the bottom. And then the next box was 2 inches by 3 inches, so it's the same height, just thicker. And this one kind of looks like it could fold open at the top. I really didn't want to make it open since you really couldn't fit that much stuff in there. So I just left it closed. You could obviously make it open however you wanted to. Maybe slide out the top or something. I don't know. Basically, it's really easy to make it work. And then I just kept building these boxes back. And one thing that you need to make sure with some of these boxes is that the back plate is taller than the front plate. So there's a slanting slope towards the front. You can see this on the front 2 boxes mainly. And one thing I realized afterwards is that actually supposed to slope downwards, forwards, and also to one side. I messed that up. I didn't actually put that in, but it doesn't really matter. Now these boxes that have that lid that flops over, it's basically just a rectangle cardboard that you round the edges off and then you fold it over, and then you just put another little rectangle on the bottom. Maybe it's like a button to open it or something. I don't know. And then you take another strip of cardboard, this time it's twice as thick as the other one, and put it in as the filler piece. And now we're going to make some more boxes. Now these boxes I made openable because they make sense. They're about as big as the front ones. They're a little bit smaller, but they have the angle on the top, and they have some nice panel details on the front of them.
So you can see this main torso piece I have right now. And I've got the belt almost done. I just have to do that main back area and then also the thermal detonator that goes on the back. And right now, the belt is just attached by some Velcro at the front and underneath both of these big boxes, which I also made so they can open up and you can store stuff in them. As well as these back boxes as well. I also made some couple lids for these so you can store stuff in these as well. It's really easy to do. You could probably do it with any of these boxes if you wanted to. So now the next step for what I'm going to do is, now I need to figure out how to attach the back and stick the thermal detonator on. And then I need to do the cod piece and then the butt plate. So those are going to be pretty challenging to do. So I'll cut back to the time lapse.
The back of the belt is very straightforward. It's just you take like a piece of cardboard and you do the same thing as you did on the front. It just doesn't have as many details on it. And then you stick some nylon strap to one side and you glue it into that one box. And then on the other side, you stick that nylon thing and then you make the Velcro gap taller so you can actually stick Velcro through instead of just the nylon strip. You can do Velcro and it. This ends up being the way of how you take it on and take it off. So it's crucial that that back strap actually is able to open that back box that you can store stuff in. You also need to make sure that at least one of them can open because it's pretty easy to attach the belt like that. The next thing I started working on is the cod piece. So I started mocking up a shape with some just scrap cardboard because I don't want to use some fresh cardboard because I might mess up the first time, which I ended up doing. I made it a little bit too long. It's supposed to be about 4 inches until that little recessed detail, and I made mine a little too long, so just adjust accordingly. So make it about 4 inches long, that gap, and then like below the armor. There's still some that goes above the armor. And then you need to make that little thumb piece that goes below it. I don't know, I just say that because it kind of looks like a thumb. And then I kind of just took a piece of cardboard and kind of made it the shape. And then I cut a bunch of little strips like in the original shape and made them stick off of it so I could glue them all together. And then I'd have a nice shape that I would be happy with. You can see that here working really nicely. And then you need to take another curved piece of cardboard and fit this one in the side gap. And you need to take some glue and glue it on the side and in that filler crack. And then wrap it all the way around up to the top edge and repeat this on the other side as well. This gives you that nice bevel that continues all the way across the back edge. Now the next thing I started working on was the butt plate. And this was very complicated, but I ended up getting it done. So what you have to do is you have to take a piece of cardboard that's about as wide as that piece that is on the back of the lower abdomen. And you have to make it form around the contour of your butt. So you have to like make it so it can stick straight down and then curve out and then curve back in. And then once you have that shape, I just added a little strip on the top for a little detail. And then I just built up the walls along the sides. And this is very simple and it sticks across the top very nicely. I'm actually really happy with how it came out, but I don't really need it for my armor. So I went ahead and made this butt plate just for the sake of making it because I'm not actually going to be wearing this on my costume because my costume has the comma, so you really don't need it. It's going to be covered up anyways. But I went ahead and made it for those people who just want the armor and they're not going to make any commander or anything, so these templates will still be there. So I'm going to put this on just for the photos, but I'm not going to wear it in the final display of all the armor. So now with this done, that's pretty much everything I need to do for this video, so now we can cut to the outro.
This episode was really fun to make, and I highly recommend that you make it too. If you want to make it too, the templates will become available once I finish the whole suit, including the pauldron and the guns. In this episode, I outlined how to make the abdomen piece, the belt, and the pelvis piece, including the cod piece and the butt plate. So in the next episode, I'm going to outline how to do the thighs, the calves, and then the foot covering, so stay tuned for that. This has been RJR Productions, signing off. Till next time.